There was nothing as dramatic in the cryptocurrency world quite as much as when the SEC launched its case against XRP Ripple. And this has been a case that whether you are a fan of XRP or not, I think pretty much everybody has been waiting for a conclusion to it. Now, it does look like the end could be in sight for this 4-year-long battle, and I believe the SEC and Ripple are meeting today to go over their proposed decision document. Now, the redacted version of this should be getting released to the public tomorrow, which will be March the 26th, but from the speculation that is kind of circulating on Twitter and the general public, the SEC are requesting the sum of $2 billion from Ripple, and this is for the fines and penalties which are being imposed by them. And from what I have read and what I think, this seems like a rather absurdly high number to be requesting. So I think that if this is what the final fine amount is, it would be one of the highest fines to have been imposed by the SEC. So the SEC was considering XRP as a security because it meets the criteria outlined in the Howey test. So this is a legal standard for determining what constitutes as an investment contract. And the test emphasises the investor's lack of control over profits as a key factor of identifying securities. So in the case of XRP, investors did not have significant influence over the asset's profits, and the sale of XRP enriched Ripple's management team. So this, along with XRP's use for funding Ripple's platform, led to the SEC to view it as a security. So securities as defined by the SEC, they need to be registered and financial information must be publicly reported to protect investors and to prevent fraud. XRP met this criteria and further supported the SEC's classification of it as a security. Now, despite the legal battle that they have been embroiled in, XRP has managed to fight its way through despite the drama, and whilst it's not got to experience the benefits of the pumps that many of our other altcoins have, it's still managed to gain 18% in the last month and just over 42% in the last year, which is impressive given the circumstances that they have experienced. So regardless of regulatory challenges in the American market, Ripple is poised for growth internationally due to its cross-border payment solution and its potential in facilitating central bank digital currencies, and also other crypto-based financial systems. So Ripple has been collaborating with major banks like the Bank of America, the Royal Bank of Canada, and Banco Santander since 2016 to explore the CBDC opportunities. Now, the lawsuit did obviously slow down the development of standards and technologies for Ripple-based CBDCs, but progress has continued despite this. And recent achievements include a Ripple Power stablecoin, which is linked to the US dollar in Palu, and they also have full licensing for digital payment services in Singapore, which is paving the way for CBDC launches. So I think that this overhanging lawsuit does still probably weigh down on a lot of people's minds regarding how XRP can perform, or if it maybe puts people off from investing in it. So let's break it down a little bit. So you can see in the last month here that we have been in a slight upward trend, although we did have a slight correction around about the 11th of the month, which isn't unusual. I think most of the market started to experience a bit of a correction here, but we started off the month sitting at around about 54 cents, and coming into the end of it, we're currently sitting at pretty much 64 cents, which is around about a 10-cent increase over the month, which for other altcoins obviously is not a significant move, but for XRP specifically, with the lawsuit overhanging on them, this is really quite a positive outlook on it. And we can also see that in the last 24 hours, obviously the trading volume has increased by 65%, which, considering the news released today of the $2 billion potential fine, this is quite incredible. So the trading volume is now currently sitting at around about nearly 2.5 million for the 24 hours. We can see that the market cap has increased 91%, and overall the token on a whole is up by almost 1%, we're at 0.96. But if we look at the month, for the month we're up by 17, which, considering it was a coin we hadn't seen a lot of movement in for a while, we can see it's been very stagnant very consistently stagnant since this was obviously when the retail was announced that it was not a security, and the Ripple won this kind of part of the lawsuit over the SEC. This was when we've seen the big jump here on it. But since then, it's been a little bit just of consistent sideways trading. So I do think that just now it is far too early to start speculating on what kind of price reactions we can expect from further legal news, but I also do think that it's got to a point where the case has been going on for so long that these kind of announcements in the legal battle don't really have a huge effect on the price anymore like what it did back in 2020. So one thing that I would also keep in mind is that not too long ago, Binance, which is obviously one of the biggest exchanges in the cryptocurrency space, pled guilty to the SEC's case against them, which was for breaking money transmitting laws and breaking sanctions which were agreed upon, and they agreed to pay 4.3 billion in fines. And I do think that the more kind of mainstream that cryptocurrency is becoming, the more the SEC are going to come after it, as they obviously want it to be more regulated than what it is. But personally, until I've seen a huge sell-off of XRP, or if I've seen a dramatic downward trend on it, it's not something that I would particularly be losing sleep over. So personally, until I've seen a huge sort of sell-off of XRP, or if I've seen a massive downward trend on it, this is not something that I would personally be losing any sleep over. And I do think that the SEC's case has already been severely weakened by the retail sales of it already being cleared as non-securities. So I think that for just now, we just need to kind of wait and see what the outcome of it is. So I know that last year when the retail sales were declared as non-securities, a lot of people had been hyping up that XRP was going to hit $10, $50, I think I've seen $100 somewhere as well. But we don't even really need to see a huge spike in the price for it. As long as it isn't majorly affected by it, as long as it stays fairly stable throughout, then I would call that a win, because obviously the SEC coming after any kind of business in general, for coming after any kind of business in general is a huge threat to it. So if it can remain stable, I think we can call that a win. So maybe we can do a little bit of an update on XRP and the state of the lawsuit once Ripple kind of submit their response to Ripple submit their response to the proposed decision document, which I believe they submit in April, which will be next month. But until then, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below, and I will see you next time.